Hey, hello everyone. My name is Michael Wynn. For those of us who have not met yet, I'm a production sound mixer based here in beautiful Atlanta, Georgia. And I just want to welcome everyone here today and say thank you for joining, first off. And on the agenda today, for about the next 30 minutes, I'm going to be giving you a tour of the Elgato Stream Deck integration into the Aton Digital Cantar Mini. And of course, it works with the X3 as well, but this is what I have set up here. So I just want to welcome you. And the objective today is to just give an overview, show you some of the features and the way this thing has been integrated into the system, which is just a beautiful layout. And also give you some of my personal opinion based upon the usefulness that I could see this in my practical workflow, and talk a little bit about that to start us off. And then about 5 minutes of Q&A, give folks an opportunity to ask questions and give their input and so forth. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. I have a couple cameras set up here so we can see, everyone can see what's happening. First off, this is the Cantar and Stream Deck view. And then we also have a close-up of the Stream Deck view. And in addition, a Stream Deck where we have a VNC viewer. So we've got a lot going on here, and I wanted to spend some time so you could really kind of get a feel for how this thing is working with the Cantar Mini. So let's just go ahead and get started. The first thing I want to mention is why did I choose to invest into the Stream Deck and move into this particular direction? Well, there's two main problems per the title of this video that I wanted to solve with the Stream Deck with the Cantar Mini. And before I mention what those problems are, the first thing I want to say is that any piece of equipment that I use in my production sound workflow or put on my cart has got to be something that simplifies and improves my workflow. Meaning, I love tech just like anyone else, but it has to solve a particular problem, make a process easier, or perhaps streamline something to help give me more time to focus on what I believe is the most important and effective thing for a production sound mixer on a film set, which is what is happening acoustically, the intention of what we're filming, and capturing the best possible sound possible. And the technology that we use is a tool that helps us accomplish that goal. But working with our teams, the dynamics of being on set, figuring out the acoustics of the environments, and working with the microphones in certain ways to capture the best possible performance is my focus. So any piece of technology that I'm going to put in front of me has to support that goal. And that's what we're going to really look at today. So let's go ahead and get right into it. First things first. As you can see here on the Stream Deck, we are in the stop position on the Cantar and the Cantar Mini. And a little close up here, as you can see in the stop position, we have the IP status, Dante, battery status, hardware info, option status, off and on. We're going to talk about this record PPR toggle button here, which goes from a crown to the Stream Deck option. And then also the amount of space free, and then a backlight. So moving into this, I'm going to show you some of the specific functions of this with a screen share, starting with the IP status. As you can see, it's just giving us the IP status of the machine. Then I can cancel out of that. And then we've got the Dante status, which is important. It's interesting because one of the things that I recently learned is that the Cantar does really want to be the leader most of the time with that, as far as the clock status is concerned. Battery status. And also moving along here, we have the hardware info. Lets us know that everything's operating normally. And then the option installed status. And a lot of different very helpful workflows in the Cantar Mini. I think if I wanted to access these things normally without the Stream Deck, it's going to require for me to navigate some of the quick keys on the Cantar Mini. Which brings me to the first problem that I want to solve with this, which is the everyday quick keys that I use, like Shift F3, or, different types of configurations like Shift Control Talk on the Cantar Mini for slating, and different things are quick keys that I easily remember. But then there's what I'll call the ambiguous type quick keys, which are the ones that I don't use every day, but sometimes I need. And Stream Deck does an excellent job in solving that particular problem, because what sometimes takes 1 or 2 quick key presses on the actual Cantar or Cantar Mini actually is going to be only 1 key press on the Stream Deck. So let's take a look at some of the other windows and functions and talk through a little bit more. And I'm going to talk about the second problem that it solves, which is probably the biggest one in my opinion. So moving right along here, I'm going to actually take the Cantar Mini crown to the first position, which is the media copy backup menu. And as we can see here, we have all of these options available on the Stream Deck, which I'll go ahead and go through here. Moving here, we can choose the source, which allows us to choose the media source that we'll be copying from. So if I go here and I press that, then I can see, I'll pull up the screen share so you guys can see that I can choose from some of the different options here. So that is, I can choose the source, whether it be the SSD, the SD1, or the SD2. Currently, it's the SD2. I'm just going to go ahead and choose the SSD just for good measure. And then I'm going to go into the screen shares here that you can see that it's the SSD. And then here is the project where I can choose the day, or I can choose to copy or clone. I'll let you get a little bit of a close-up here of this that you can actually see. When I press this, I can choose the mono file, I can choose the poly file, I can choose the mix down, all of the different options you see in the copy menu. So anything that I can do here, as you can see, we're copying some files. Let's go ahead and click on that so you can see that actually happening here. And it'll say nothing to be processed because I didn't choose anything to copy. So that's the basics of that menu. Now what's interesting is in order to find a lot of these menus here in the session menu is the next one. Let's go ahead and scroll this. You can see that in the session menu we have the project, the suffix, new project. We can choose to delete, proxies, and then we also have the format option. So let's say I want to go ahead and format my SD1. I can simply press it, press start, and then as you can see here, I'm formatting that particular device. And I'll keep that screen there just for a second so you guys can follow along. Other menus included in here is we can actually generate and set up reports. And then I'll let you zoom into this here. Bear with me as I'm learning to kind of navigate all these quick keys for the stream here. I can choose a different type of reports. Like for instance, I want to do the PDF report, and then I'll go to the screen here. And then with the arrow buttons, I can simply navigate like I always do. So I'll go ahead and cancel out of this, and we'll take a look at some of the other neat things. So here I can choose the type of recording to do on any drive. I can do, as you can see, the SSD is set up for live record. We have the little dancing guy here. And then since I'm doing poly, of course, I'm going to want to do mono files on the SSD. I can also choose to do different types, such as poly file, etc. And then moving here, I'll go to the SDs, which I can also choose live record. This is kind of fun. The idle record, sometimes this is used in USB. Has a little guy sitting with a winder on his back. He's kind of tired. He only works when you go to stop. And everything that you can do on the Cantar here by navigating the different buttons here, which we'll go ahead and see, anything that takes navigating buttons here on each screen can be done here and is integrated quite beautifully in a way that doesn't require like extra diving into menus and quick keys. And so let's move right along here into the next menu. Let's see here. All right, the next one, we have the technical settings. And I'm going to pull that up here. And as you can see, we can easily just kind of go up and down through the technical settings menu, just like you would using the arrows. And then from here, we'll go into the next one, which is the audio and time code parameters, which you can simply go here. So let's say we want to do a post roll. We can simply just go here, and then we can actually choose a number of seconds by going up. Let's do a 6-second post roll to complement our pre-roll, and press OK. And very self-explanatory for those particular menus. And then we get into the grid menu, which is really integrated quite beautifully. As you can see, we can basically scroll through the different track numbers here of the 16 tracks on the Cantar Mini. And we can arm or disarm any track. As you can see, I've armed track 16, which is Dante input 15 assigned. I can also change the left-right assignment. Let me go ahead and arm it first so you can see that change. LCR. And then some of the other things I have here is fine pan. And then I'll get out of that, and we can actually rename. If we wanted to rename this in grid right here, we have all of the different options from inputting text, and I'll let you see this here real quick, to clear all, inserting text and characters, deleting, backspacing, anything that you could expect to do on a keyboard using the backspace delete buttons or using the Cantar controls itself. So I talked about a second problem here. I'm going to go ahead and go into the crown mix for the headphones. As you can see here, we're in the headphone menu and headphone out maps. And I'm going to zoom in here to the Stream Deck so you can see this here. We can clear configurations. We can rename. We can also go to different out maps, left or right here. And then also, we have got, trying to make sure we can see all this, we've got the output grid as well. And this is worth looking at, and I really like the integration of the output grid because I can easily choose line out, I can choose AES3 or Dante without having to continually press F3 on the Cantar Mini. So if I want to take a look and see what my Dante is doing on my outputs, I can see I've got a stereo bus out Dante 1 and 2 labeled mix left right. I can look at the AES. As you can see, nothing's assigned. And then the line outputs here, which are matching the Dante 1 and 2, plus some redundancy on the A multi or configuration. And then also in here, we have a lot of different menu options for multi configurations, headphone setups, and also you can disable or enable beep and playback as well here. So I'll go ahead and scroll that there so you can see that actually happening. As you can see here, I can scroll up and down and easily control all of these different functions. I can actually enable or disable playback. So there's a lot of different things to go through here, and I know I'm going through them very quickly. Some sections I want to spend a little bit more time on than others. Here's the browser, and you can see some of the menus on the browser, including the drive that we're browsing, the project, the daily folder. We can also, that says previous metadata, but what it actually does is it edits the metadata of what you see there. So let's go ahead and just pull something up here and see how we do. We'll go to the daily folder here, and we'll go to this one, press OK, and as you can see, we have that. Now what's kind of cool is you see this multi-select. We can actually press this, and by engaging that, it turns green. We can actually select multiple items. So if we wanted to edit the metadata of this, we could simply press here, and we can edit all the metadata. And then I can come in here and, say, okay, we'll just say good take because that's what was there. And, oh, see, my OCD can't handle that. I actually have to capitalize good. There we go. Good take. There we are. So now, as I exit out of that, all of that is updated in the metadata. Other things we can see here is we can circle takes, move to trash. Refresh is just for making sure the files show up. Sometimes when you go from one day to the next, you might notice that it might need to be refreshed or whatever. So that's what that's for. And what's cool is that some of these view options, notes and next tracks, I didn't even know this stuff existed when I started scrolling through that. See how the tracks are showing up and I can actually see all the metadata, including the track names and so forth. That's a really, really cool thing there. And then we can do snap reports, which are quick, like mini sound reports for different collections of audio files, daily folders, or projects. And pretty much everything you can do there is here. So moving here forward to the next one is the play menu. And as you can see, we've got a lot of really cool options in play menu. If I actually press play here, you can see that I'm playing through the file. What's really cool and interesting is it makes it very, very easy to create markers. So if I wanted to create a marker right at this point here, I could stop, and then using the Stream Deck, I can create a marker configuration. So we'll go ahead and do that by creating a marker. And then, as you can see here, add new marker. And then I'm going to press OK, and now I've got a new marker. So now I can actually easily scroll to different points and then just press play when I'm ready to press play, go back to the next marker, and play it again. We also have we can change pre or post fade here. What are some other things inside of here? We can actually, change our headphone configuration that we're listening to for playback. Pretty much anything and everything that you do on your Cantar, on your daily workflow, is accessible here. Okay, so moving right along here to the next screen, we're going to go, we've already gone over the stop menu, so we'll move past that. We're going to go into the test menu, which is the 10 o'clock position, and take a look at some of these. So now we're going to do some of the more important, I wouldn't say more important, but just more like daily workflow type tasks. First of which, we should go ahead and jam the time code. As you can see here, we're jamming the time code and then system jam requested, and then we're ready to go. Everyone knows that shortcut, Shift F3. It's something that we do all the time. And then we also have the in-grid menus, and we also have subgroup, and then fine pan, naming, and Aton mix. That's a great example of a quick key that I find that's difficult to remember with the Cantar Mini. I couldn't recall it right now if I wanted to. Some of you guys are probably a lot better at remembering these things than me, but some of the more ambiguous, not everyday things is really where the Stream Deck shines to help make this possible. Because obviously I can see it says Aton Mix enabled, and then by pressing this button, I'm going to go, I need to actually navigate to the track that actually has an Aton Mix in order for this to work. There we go. Now we have Aton Mix bus 1 enabled. We can also change the group number here by pressing this icon. And then we can even copy configurations as well from here when we're in the in-grid. So as you can see, we can copy. It really is endless. I could keep going, but I want to focus on, here's arming, disarming, some of the more common things. First and foremost, I want to show you something really, really important and talk through the second problem. So let's switch cameras just for a second here. Let me navigate it. Thanks for bearing in there with me, guys. So I talked about a problem. I talked about this solves a problem with your Cantar. The first and primary thing when going through this, because we're about to really get to the more everyday workflow stuff, I kind of stream through really quickly just some of the basic keys of the menus that were really not in continuously throughout the day. I think most of us live in the test, pre-record, record position throughout the day and are doing very, very common keys. I think some of those common keys are talking back to crew for communications, for talk 1 and talk 2, slating the particular takes as we roll, and then also anything in arming, disarming, time code, Shift F3. So the 2 buttons that I've replaced on my Cantar S, and I've also, are the Shift button and the F3 button. No, excuse me, the Shift, not the F3 button, not yet. The Shift button and the Talk button. And without going into like how much it costs and stuff like that, it was more than the cost of the Stream Deck. And, you know, any device, anything in the world that is done continuously is going to wear and tear. And I'm finding that, you know, maybe I'm talking too much to the crew or slating too much. But what's happening is that the Stream Deck is really allowing me to round robin that. So by having the Stream Deck here, I can actually use these talk buttons to talk rather than using the ones on the Cantar Mini. And I think that's the major problem that is solved, is that the wear and tear is a real thing. I don't think by any means the buttons are going to wear out quickly. I think that any button that you use absolutely continuously every single day, day in, day out, year after year, is eventually going to fail and is going to need replacement. So if we want to extend the life of this machine, this is a perfect way to do it. Now, the other thing I wanted to mention, and I really thought it was clever from Aton Digital, is this saying that they said, rediscover your Cantar. And I find, and I had spoken about earlier, the ambiguous quick keys that are like, what is that? Such as linking tracks. Let's take a look at that. What are the other kind of things? Like multi-output configurations, going through output grids and auxiliary, subgroup levels. Different things that I want to get to quickly, but maybe I'm like, what's the quick key on that? Now, for those of you who don't know, you can triple shift any menu here in the Cantar, and then by pressing shift 3 times, supposedly you're supposed to get the menu here. There it is. And you can see all the different quick keys. Control F1, Control Shift F1, Control F2. Some of you guys probably have way better memories than me, but the Stream Deck, what I really found is that it really takes some of those difficult to remember and find workflows and expand on them. Some of the things that I don't do very often that I really would like to do more often in my workflow is take types. So we're in the pre-record and record position. And on take types, I can actually come in here, and by pressing the take type, I can actually see you got no good, pickup, rehearsal, guide track, announce, wild track. You know, how many times do they say we're rolling on the rehearsal? It really is take 1, but in the metadata, now it shows up here as R, as you see in the take number. And I really like that because I can communicate with post and say, okay, listen, if you see this, because editors may not be used to that. They might say, oh, wow, sound mixers haven't done that to me before, or this is a wild track, or this one wasn't good for sound, no good. The take type is a very, very nice feature that I don't use a lot, not because I didn't want to use it, because I'm just like, how do I do that again? Like, oh, I gotta, on the Cantar, I gotta come in here and I have to like, okay, I think I find it, and then, okay, wait, and then, oh yeah, and then I go through here. As you can see, well, you can't see because my little finger's right here, but it's a lot of navigation in order to, like, here's the level of confusion I'm at right now. So if I escape, okay, and then I want to delete, shift, yeah, see, like, and as you can see, I'm kind of struggling my way through it, not on purpose, but it's just having it right here is what really is the problem that it's solving for me, in addition to the wear and tear. Now, let's get to the really important stuff for a second. There was some confusion I noticed on the Facebook groups about rolling and recording and the crown position with the Stream Deck. And I'm going to take you back to two menus for a second. And this is a good one. If this is the one thing you get out of this stream, then mission accomplished. So we're going to go to the stop menu here. And in here, I'm going to zoom in on here and see this record PPR. If I take that to crown only mode, and then I'm going to take the crown back to the test position. Notice that this says lock. This is locking the Stream Deck panel, so I don't have to worry about accidentally pressing any buttons. So there's that. But the mode that allows you to record and cut from the Stream Deck is simple. You basically go here and you go to the Stream Deck option. As you can see, the record PPR pre-record option. And then we're going to go back to the pre-record position. And let me go ahead and get that menu back up here, as you can see. And now I can roll or cut directly from the Stream Deck. So now I'm rolling. And as you can see here, now we had also spoke about the Slate thing. So if I want to slate, it's real simple. I just press down the Slate, and then now I'm slating on the Cantar. As you can see, I've got it assigned to the mix track. I have a left and right bus because I've been doing some experimenting here in the studio. And then I'm done. And then if I want to talk to crew, well, it's pretty simple. I'm just going to want to come into here, disengage this, and then press the talk button. Now I'm communicating directly to my crew or comm lines. Let me move this over. And then I can stop. And as you can see, it's giving me, I think that's my post-roll setting. I wasn't used to that because I don't use that very often. And then I'm ready to go. So I can drop in, record, and cut directly from the Stream Deck. And I can also always use the Stream Deck and the pre-record, record positions for communication and test with crew. At any time, use those talk buttons. So let me go here. And let's take a look at some of these record position stuff. So I can actually go in, as you can see, and adjust a lot of things, even in the record, such as the take type says rehearsal. It's like, oh, wait, that's not supposed to be a rehearsal. This is a pickup. So I can change that actually while I'm rolling. And I can come in and say, oh, wait, this right here, I want to create a marker for. So I come in, I can create a marker right on the metadata. Other things I can do is I can go, oh, wow, I didn't put the right slate number here. As I can simply, I pressed the wrong one. I pressed clap. Let me try actually doing slate up, slate down, which is what I was trying to do. Here you go, which are these two here. So I can slate up. As you can see, I'm delta. Oh, wait, no, this is supposed to be bravo. And that is all working with the current take. How cool is that? Now, you could do all that stuff without Stream Deck. No problem. But the thing is that you're going to need to know the quick key. And you're going to need to know the variations of all these lesser use type functions. So having the less wear and tear and having not having to remember the quick keys, having everything clearly laid out in front of you here, bear with me on cameras, is probably my favorite parts. And then before we get into the Q&A, let's look at the time. Oh boy, I said 30. I'm at 2:29. I want to get into my favorite features. Some of the things I was like, wow, I'm so glad this is here. And that is on the mic inputs and channel menus. Like we have just basically breezed the surface here. So I'm going to click here on one of my inputs, and then I'll change cameras here so you can see what I'm doing, and we'll zoom in on the Stream Deck. And right now I've got the solo mic, mic 1 input here, and I can basically turn off and on phantom power here. I can choose 48 volts. I can actually, I'm going to go ahead and turn it back on. I can turn off or on the limiter. I can change the phase correlation on it. Now the input delay is grayed out because it's currently disabled. I've got the waterfall display. I've also got the solo line output option. And I'll get out of that here, get back into my channel input. And then I can choose like mic or line level. As you can see here, the ones that are grayed out are the ones that are not being used. So if I can do mid-level, I can do line level. And then look at the EQ function. This is way cool. Now these are high-pass filters or low-cut, whatever you want to call it. And I'm using my 60 hertz at 12 dB per octave there. And I love the way the display is just laid out and how simple this is. And especially when I just want to quickly go through a bunch of inputs. And here's what I mean by that. So if I want to say, okay, let me back out of this, and I want to just go through the different mics. See, I'm going mic 3. Let me scroll this down just a little bit so you can see. Okay, there you go. VNC server. Behave. All right, let's get this back where it goes. Okay. So by using the left-right buttons, I'm soloing through all my line inputs very, very quickly. And then I can quickly get a sense of, okay, making sure everything is set exactly the way I want. Like I can say, oh, I got to make sure my limiter's on this. I'm going to press this. Okay, limiter's on. I'm going to put the limiter on here. I'll put the limiter on 1, 2, you know, and then I probably got a little ahead of myself trying to be fast like that. And that, just the input on the channel menus is probably one of my favorite features. Plus the rolling and recording. I could go on and on with all the stuff that I like, but I see there's a lot of questions and comments. Let's go through some of those. And if there's something I didn't cover, or I see Viez Marie Oms here. He's amazing. He helped me with a lot of my questions on this. So thank you, Viez, for answering a lot of the questions in the stream and filling in the gaps. And I'm going to change here, and we'll go through some of these comments and put them on the screen. All right. There we go. All right. Tet Mort, Pro Audio, thank you for being here. Great to see you. And then, let's see here. Oh, I got my program audio. Let me change stuff on my screen so I can actually make all this work. There we go. And, okay, Lloyd Puckett says, do you still need to use the crown for different modes? The answer is yes and no. Yes, to go through all of the different crown positions. No, if to go back and forth from record to pre-record. You do not need the crown for that. Let's see here. Right. There we go. All right. Nan, it's always great to see you here. Thanks for being here on the stream. And let's see who else. There you go. Okay, is this the only size Stream Deck supported? Do you think there is any advantage to the lather size? I believe it is optimized for this particular size, Lloyd. You know, one thing I'll comment is that size and is at a, or real estate, not size, is at a premium, as you know, on a production sound card. So this is a really nice size just to kind of keep aside. I've seen some excellent 3D models out there that people are using where they're mounting these with 1/4-20 mounts so they can be on rack mounts on their cart, and some really clever things so far. Thanks for the question, Lloyd. Okay, who drew all the icons? See, Tet the Mort Pro Ida says, a big bravo to Viez Marie Oms, who drew all the icons. And they're amazing. Thank you, Viez. That is incredible. I didn't even know that. I knew he had a big part for the development of it, and that is really, really cool. Okay. Well, I just want to say thank you for everyone for being here. If there's no questions on this, we can go ahead and close things up. And I just want to say thanks to everyone. Thank you to Aton Digital for providing this license here for the Stream Deck for this demo. And thank you everyone for tuning in to the channel. And also hello to all the Facebook viewers out there. Usually we're streaming here on YouTube for this, but I decided to do both because I thought it was going to be helpful. And I think that's about it. And then there we go. Look and see if there's any other comments. Thanks for the overview. Pascal, yes, great to see you here. Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you for all your support. And the guys over at Aton Digital are amazing as far as the support and developing these things for us. The fact that we continue to get these new things for these machines is just brilliant. So thank you for that. Playback and record. Yeah, it says, can you talk about playback and record? I think that was a while ago, but just in case anyone missed it, I'm just going to bring it in here one more time. Because I believe the playback record feature was added at a later time after the initial release. So how it works specifically is you'll need to make sure that this icon in the stop position here is set to the Stream Deck. That's like a little icon of a Stream Deck here. As you can see, the crown means it won't play back and record from the Stream Deck. That means crown only. And then the Stream Deck icon means that you can go from pre-record to record. So we'll go ahead and take that to the pre-record position. And as you can see here, we can drop the Cantar into record. And as you can see, we're recording. We can also, of course, slate and send a slate to the mix track here. You also have the ability to use your talk 1, 2 as comms, as you can see, by disabling the slate icon first. Remember, because this is latching, which is a little bit different than what you experience with holding down the shift. So that's just something to know. And then to press stop, you just simply press the stop icon like so. And then as you can see, it's in post-record. So it's just taking a second here to gather that last bit of information. And that's that there. So anyway, thank you so much, everyone, for being here. Stay tuned for more streams coming from this channel. Subscribe on the YouTube channel if you haven't done so already. And I appreciate everyone's time. And I'll look forward to seeing you soon.